on Friday, when I came back from Malton, actually, there was a van at the mast, and they were in the EE cabin, and rather surprisingly, they were there to turn it on, finally. What is it? They started in December, well, late November really, when the cows came in. Late November 2022. So it sat there for well over 2 years. What is it? March now. 2 years and 3 months. And it was substantially completed after the first year. I mean, it's quite a major job putting it up. And then all last year it sat there with the antennas on and stuff running inside, and to be honest, we're still at that stage, because although they did turn it on, and we actually have a signal. There is a phone signal from it. So even in the house I've got 5 bars, but there's no connection as yet. But on the day they were doing it, about 2 o'clock time, they were there for a few hours. Like, initially they said they couldn't do it because they needed, the antenna wasn't balanced right or something, which wouldn't be like CB radio, I suppose. You have to have your antenna balanced. Anyway, whatever, that they seemed to overcome that. I don't know what they did, but they got it working. And briefly, I just happened to be looking at it, to be honest, because it was dinner time, and I was messaging somebody in the village about it, how it seemed to be coming on. And at that point, I was able to turn the Wi-Fi off in-house and continue with the messaging, briefly. So, I surmised that for maybe just 2 or 3 minutes even, they had it running on test, correctly linking into the network and everything. And then they turn that off again, because there'll be like an official start date for it. They don't just stick it on any other. And because presumably once it's up and running, they have to pay some sort of fee to somebody. I don't know how it works. So there'll be like an official start date, and that could still be, for all we know, that could still be weeks away, or several days. But it might come on like today. This is the first working day afterwards. If they sort of put in their report that it's up and running, it could be on. Whereas I think this week is perfectly reasonable, and it's not impossible to come on today. So everyone else has had this. Everyone else in inverted commas has had this for about 25 years. We might finally have a mobile phone signal which is worth taking your phone to use, because it's almost a more frustrating aspect of it, that there are places where you get a phone signal here and there, but it's most places you don't. This has got gradually better over the years, particularly since they built a very small mast. It's inside like a plastic fiberglass or something tube that looks like a wooden pole. It's on the hill to the left when I go around this corner, and that actually gives a reasonable signal a bit along behind the village, and a good few other places too. It's surprised how well it works, really. Because if it's just a small pole, it isn't even as big as that wooden pole there with that. The one on the left is more like that foam pole, but that's not it obviously, but a little bit thicker than that. And it's just brown, and you haven't made any huge effort to make it look like wood. But you would, if you didn't know, you would just think it was a phone pole. But there's an antenna hidden inside, and because it's on quite a good elevated site, it does work quite well. So we should get the phone. I don't know if it's in any way related to, you see, a couple of days before they came out, and there were somebody from working for EE wanted to be in the cabin, and he was like taking photographs of everything because he was kind of doing a report or an assessment of it or something so EE could decide if or when they were going to turn it on. So why did that take all the months and months and months after it's been just sat waiting? But and then like 2 days later they'll come out and do it. But that fella, I didn't say much to him. I just told him we were sick of waiting for it, because he was nothing to do with EE. But we did have the other guy here, who sort of looks after the site. They were involved in the construction, and I gave him yet another earful, because he is in contact with people who can do something about it. That's the point. Whereas there's no good complaining to the electrician or something. So whether he actually did say something, I don't know. But I've never got him to say that he would do it for him. He's okay. I don't mind him. He's about my age. He's from Salford, I think, near Manchester. And it's ridiculous, really. The reason he came over drove from Manchester, effectively, on the day to open the cabin with a key, and that's all he did. Then he sat in his truck. Though he says technically it isn't just opening it, he has to assess that the person A is legitimate and B knows what they're doing. They're not going to do something dangerous. So it's a health and safety thing that he has to be there to supervise, essentially. He doesn't stand over him. We just make sure he's a competent person. Because it's a fair point, really. Because I even suggested, could I even have the key? Would that be out of the question? I'm not going to go in and interfere with the radio gear. But he says no. You have to have a qualified person on site, so they don't electrocute themselves or something. So you can see what they're thinking. We know how they work. Can I get past this guy? I doubt it somehow. I think, to be honest, it's going to be a bit of an anticlimax when it does come on, because I've sort of historically, it was a major issue that you couldn't, because we had no way to say you had an emergency. If your phone lines are down and you wanted, any phone call really, that's a big pipe. You had to go up the moor, and sometimes further. You'd think you had to go right up the top before you could get the roaming signals for some networks more than others. And it became more of an issue in recent years. Say you wanted to log into your bank online, they started assuming they could send you a text message to confirm it was you. So for a little while, you had to go up the moor, get your text message, and come back down, go on your online banking. I'm not joking, that actually happened a few times, but then not long after that we were able to use Wi-Fi calling on the Wi-Fi, which honestly, that really was quite transformative, because suddenly you can use your mobile phone in the house, which is cheaper than using a house phone, much cheaper now. And you can use it around the yard, you see, because I've got Wi-Fi outside to run cameras and things, and it'll link onto that as well, and that works. So, to be honest, a lot of the time, I do what I sort of wanted to do previously on Wi-Fi calling. But there's still plenty of places where you go up the field or something, and I say in some ways it makes it worse, because you start to use your phone more, and people think they can ring you on your mobile phone, but you're still not out of contact with it when you're out at the field or at the sheeps and things like that, more or less. But in some places it does actually work, so it's worth taking it, and you might say they sent a text message or something, it might eventually come through. So it's better than you are, but you can really see the sort of advantage of having it, if you didn't know already. They've got a lot of silage left. And the major advantage is in having it up and running. See, a normal, if that had been a car driver, they waited there while I was coming down. Not just make me slow down for a second. But cyclists are terrible like that. I think they're invisible and they take up no space or something. It was, I think David Vine, the famous cycling maniac, did something. He's in London, and he just kept barging on into obvious danger. There was a car wanting to turn off the road, and in London they have a lot of cycle lanes where the cyclists, admittedly, they have priority, but he was like driving alongside this car, but probably could hardly even see him, because you have blind spots in cars, and you've got to assume that not every car driver is 100% competent. There might be 90, but not that would make them incompetent, but they could be barely competent, shall I put it that way, or not the most alert, or they might be distracted because they're playing with a radio or something, I don't know. You do see it here. It's not as common on here, to be fair. Most of them are fine, but you do get it from time to time as soon as people get on a bicycle, and here's another one, seem to turn into this different creature whose sole ambition is to hold up traffic and cause problems. Yeah, they can be driving another day, but different again. But some of them, they don't drive, and they don't appreciate why when you've got, especially a heavier vehicle, this is an example, but a lorry, you don't want to stop and start if you could possibly avoid it, and other drivers realise that and try to gently change their speed to help each other out. Whereas the classic cyclist apparently does the exact opposite. He thinks they're doing something clever if they make people slow down or stop. Why is he doing that? What's going on with his maybe just because he's going slowly. Maybe stuck in bottom gear or something. I thought he was saying there was something dangerous coming up and that car pulled in. You know, what, an unusual wide load or something. Going on with his hazards on. Maybe it looked a bit, I didn't really see what it was just a white van. It could have been phone or something. He may be looking at the roadside posts or something, I don't know. If there's any. But this road on here, this main road, I've honestly rarely ever experienced it, just once on the bike, and not with this thing on. It's quite common for there to be rather serious accidents that take like 2 hours to resolve or something. And you can't really, I wouldn't say you can't complain, but it could be quite serious if people lay dead or something, or dying, and you know, so you have to just wait, unless you know that you're able to turn around and do an alternative route, which you might do or you might not. It's not easy with something like this, or any HGV. But one of the danger signs is you're going along and think, blimey, there's no cars on this road, or there's only the odd one, and you start thinking, hang on, there's been an accident or something. But I say it's really, it happens quite regularly. I'd say nearly once a week, some sort of accident. May or may not cause a major delay like that, of hours. Because even once the casualties have been moved, there'll be like wrecked vehicles to pick up and things. So if you're just in a car, you can turn around, and there are alternative routes, which are not really very useful though. Not very suitable, I mean. If you know well in advance, you can do it better. When I come back, I don't always come back right along here. But if you know in advance that there's been an accident, ooh, that's unusual, isn't it? Straight out. There is some cars coming up here though, I saw them. It is curiously quiet this morning, isn't it? This is what I mean, if there seems to be an unnaturally low amount of traffic, you just start to wonder. Now anyway, I've got 12 lambs in today. I always end up with 12. And there's 18 left, so another half decent load of 10 or 12. And a few like tail enders. But actually, having said that, one of them has got a funny wonky leg. I don't think you can ever go through the market. But then on top of that, there's 7. I thought there was 6 for ages, but there's 7 cool cows, and there's thin as rails. I'm going to have a word with them today for saying what he thinks. They don't look ill. They don't look very well, but they don't look ill. Two of them were a bit limpy, but I've just done those feet again, so they might be improving. They aren't seriously lame, but they just will not put any weight on. But having said that, when I was doing their feet, it was surprising how heavy they were. I think they weighed nearly 50 kilos. So I can imagine taking them and the last few lambs, so there'll be 2 more good load. We rode along very nicely along here. There's a bit of a tailwind, I think, today. It's just really helping. Along this part anyway. When you get towards Tranmere Road End, it often gets a bit more to the side. It's not exactly windy, but there is a bit of a wind. You think you'd pick up all that crap in the hedge there, wouldn't you? It's clearly blown out of their shopping area. tyres. He's doing 40 kph. It's a 24 plate, so it's not old at all. I'm just wondering if he's going to turn right here, that's all. He also might be going to turn left here. I think it's nearly brand new, that tractor. They're working round to pedestrianising the centre of Whitby, at least partially, certain times of day. There's always money for this, isn't there? They've got £750,000 scheme starting, this is just with stage 1, to make it so they can shut off, I think it's all of Church Street, all down the east side, at certain times of day. And they say this is just the first part. This has been on the cards for a while. I saw a report about this about 5 years ago at least, where as part of the massive anti-car agenda they were going to try and completely pedestrianise the whole of Whitby. Cars will be banned from the town centre completely. Well, plenty of older people, but I could do myself with this to a point. Don't particularly want to go walk miles around Whitby, you know. They want to go down, have a little ride round, park on the cliff top somewhere if you can, and watch the sea, and eat some fish and chips and ice cream, whatever. I'm just being a little bit flippant about it, but you know that's the way it is. Is it 20 past 10 already?